Hey guys, it's Jedi Lex, and come with me on my road to Star Wars Celebration, Japan. On Wednesday, April 16th, I spent the entire day at Universal Studios Japan, and let me tell you, it was an absolute blast. It ended up being an extra special day because a bunch of other creators were there too, including Ricky from Pop the Bounty Collector, Tony from Star Wars Sith, Gianni from I Am Gianni V, Andrea from Padawan Chronicles, and Jose from General Kenobi's Bunker. It was so cool getting to run into familiar faces and hang out with them in such a fun and unique setting, especially with all of us buzzing with excitement for Celebration, which was just around the corner. The morning kicked off with a walk from the hotel to the park with Ricky. Once we got inside, we met up with Tony, and the three of us wandered around together for a bit, checking out the different areas of the park before splitting up for our individual fast passes. One of the first spots we hit was the Despicable Me area, and wow, this place totally blew me away. Compared to the version in Orlando, the theming here was on a whole other level. Everything was super detailed and colorful, and honestly felt like you were stepping right into the Minions world. The ride itself was pretty much the same as back home, but was completely in Japanese. As I explored the park, I couldn't help but snack my way through the day. I tried the Minions colorful Easter egg cookie sandwich pudding a la mode, which was definitely interesting, not quite what I was expecting, but still fun to try. I also had the Minions banana mousse with a blue lemon gelatin dessert that looked as wild as it tasted. After, I made my way over to the Jurassic Park area, where I rode what ended up being my first and favorite ride of the day, the Flying Dinosaur. It was insanely fun, with high-speed twists, deep dives, and a ton of unexpected loops that had me grinning the whole time. I love roller coasters, and this one definitely delivered. If you love coasters that push the limits, this one is a must. As if that wasn't cool enough, what made the experience even more memorable was getting to witness a dinosaur encounter right after. Some incredibly lifelike dinos were brought out into the park, and guests could actually get up close and even touch them. The detail in the costumes and animatronics were amazing. It really felt like we were stepping into a scene from the movie. It was such a fun surprise and added an overall immersive feel to the area. The first official stop on my Fast Pass schedule was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is always a magical stop no matter the park. I headed straight there after Jurassic Park, and while the overall layout and atmosphere were very similar to the one in Orlando, there were a few subtle differences that made it feel unique. The ride itself was almost identical, just like Despicable Me, with all of the dialogue in Japanese. Of course, I couldn't leave without grabbing a butterbeer, because it's basically a must whenever you're in Hogsmeade, right? Or maybe that's just me, but either way, I gotta be honest, the one in Orlando still takes the cake. This version was good, but it didn't quite hit the spot the same. Maybe it's just what I'm used to, or maybe the flavor profile was a little different, but it did have the same creamy magical kick that I remembered. Later in the afternoon, I happened to run into Gianni from I Am Gianni V, and we ended up spending a good chunk of time together walking around the park. It was such a fun, unexpected meetup, and we did a few more rides, explored different areas, and tried even more snacks along the way. The energy in the park was contagious, and it was great to share the experience with another fellow content creator and friend. We were both just killing time and soaking it all in as we were waiting for our entry window to open for the one place we both were super hyped for, Super Nintendo World. Once I got into Super Nintendo World, I headed straight for the ride I'd been waiting for all day, Mario Kart Koopa's Challenge. As someone who's been obsessed with Mario Kart for years, this was a huge bucket list moment, and it completely lived up to the hype. The entire queue takes you through Bowser's Castle, and wow, it was a visual feast. Walking through those towering stone halls and seeing Bowser's massive statue up close gave me chills. The queue itself was incredibly immersive and packed with Mario Kart details, from the legendary race cups to the special Universal Cup made just for this attraction. Every room had something new to catch your eye, and the level of detail was just mind-blowing. I honestly could have spent even longer just admiring all the references. The ride blends augmented reality with physical sets, creating an experience that's both high-tech and deeply nostalgic. In the pre-show area, you're handed a Mario Cap-style visor with adjustable straps, and once you board your race cart, you attach a pair of AR goggles that are clipped to the steering wheel. Each cart is themed after a different character and fits up to 4 people, so it feels like you're part of a team. During the ride, everyone has to steer together at specific moments, and how well you sync up with your teammates affects your kart's speed and performance. It's chaotic in the best way, like playing Mario Kart but with your whole body involved. And hands down, my favorite part of the entire experience was racing through Rainbow Road. It's one of my all-time favorite tracks in the game, so flying through it in real life was completely surreal. I was honestly grinning like a kid the whole time. It was pure giddy joy. After wrapping up Mario Kart, I made my way over to the Donkey Kong Country area to try my luck with Minecart Madness. Even though I'm not the biggest Donkey Kong player and some of the references went over my head, I still found this section of Super Nintendo World absolutely fascinating. The design and layout were so well done. Unfortunately, the ride itself was having a pretty rough day. It kept shutting down on and off, and while I tried to stay optimistic, after waiting about 45 minutes with barely any movement in the line, and after another shutdown announcement, I finally decided to hop out of line. Definitely a bit of a bummer, but I'd figure I'd make the most of my time elsewhere. I headed over to the 1-Up factory to do a bit of shopping and to look around. I ended up finding this really cool pin badge featuring all of the race cups, which I couldn't resist picking up. I also grabbed a Universal Golden Cup trophy, which I felt was the perfect souvenir to cap off the Mario Kart experience. I spent a little more time just wandering around Super Nintendo World, and I have to say, the atmosphere at night is truly something special. The lighting, music, and energy take on a whole different vibe once the sun goes down. I'm so glad I stayed long enough to take that in. Afterwards, I made my way back to the hotel to drop off my stuff and recharge for a little bit before heading out to meet Tony and Ricky for dinner and some drinks. We were all totally wiped from the day, but we swapped stories about our favorite moments from the park, laughed over the day's chaos, and just really enjoyed the fact that we were experiencing all of this together in Japan. In the highlight of dinner, I finally got to try Wagyu for the first time, and let me tell you, it absolutely lived up to the hype. Melt in your mouth, buttery perfection. It was the perfect way to wrap up what was truly an unforgettable day at Universal Studios Japan, surrounded by friends, amazing food, and a bit of that theme park magic that lingers even after the ride shut down. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, as well as subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, or even click to watch one of my other videos, and may the force be with you.